back to my channel, and today I'm gonna show you a recipe that I have been making probably for a few months now. It's an omelette, high protein, very low calorie omelette. And I also heard that some people think it's complicated to make one. Actually, it is not. It takes few minutes. The only thing that is, I would say, time consuming is preparing all the filling, because I do like a lot of stuff inside, and I'm gonna show you how to make it, the different fillings that I use, and you can use whatever you want. Everything is up to you. One of the fillings that I like to use is mushroom spinach, and actually I have leeks. Leeks is some kind of a little bit sweeter, I would say onion. Maybe it's sweeter for you, I'm not sure how you're gonna find it, but I really like leeks, and because I had some I made, I'm gonna use them for this recipe. But if you don't have it, you probably won't have it, or you just don't like it, you can use onion or just mushroom and spinach itself. It's perfectly fine. And of course I'm gonna use some bacon. It's breakfast, it's bacon, and bacon, I love to use the fat from bacon. I love the flavor, and just a little bit goes a long way with bacon. So that will be a great adding. Also, I'm gonna use a little bit of butter just to put it on the pan, just enough to coat. And now I'm using here 2 eggs. Myself, actually, personally, like 2 eggs. And I like to use it with 2 ounces of egg whites, just to make the calories a little bit lower and add more volume. That's for me the best trick ever. But it is a lot of food. So if you're not such a animal eater like I am, you can use just 2 eggs, and I will show you also how it looks when you make it just with 2 eggs. And the other option, you can either do 3 eggs or just like I do, 2 eggs and 2 ounces of egg whites. So I'm gonna crack the eggs first. So this is the best way. Oops. And that way, when everything is ready, especially the filling is ready, then you're gonna do the omelet. And what I like to do is make more filling, like let's say for 3 omelets. That way I have it for 3 days in a row, and I don't have to make it again. And the biggest time-consuming thing is just basically chopping the vegetables and sauteing them. Everything else, it takes literally 5 minutes. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt and pepper and mix it very well. You're gonna see that I'm not adding any milk or cream to it. I decided I don't need it. If you'd like to add splash, people say make the omelet softer, more fluffier. I don't see much of a difference, so I don't care. I don't add. Now I'm gonna cut up some bacon and prepare it first while I'm cutting the rest of the vegetables, so the bacon is starting rendering process. I have my pan very well preheated, so once I put the bacon, it starts sizzling pretty nicely. And this process takes about 5 minutes, not much longer. Make sure you do not have it too high. I say the bacon is probably on a medium heat here. While it's being done, I'm gonna just cut up some vegetables, starting with leeks here. And this is completely optional. If you don't have leeks, you can use onion. If you don't have any, just mushroom and spinach will do. You don't have to add extra things to it. I love leeks. They are from onion family, and in Eastern European cooking, they're very, very common. However, in the United States, I don't see that vegetable in that many dishes. So if you don't have it, you just can use something else. Or don't use anything at all, just omit that step. Next, we're gonna chop up some mushroom. And they don't have to be like very small, but small enough. Don't make too huge pieces, because it's gonna be very hard to handle it once you're putting it into your omelet. And I have here about 250 to 300 grams of mushroom, because I'm gonna make this filling for at least 3 big omelets. I like to do it like that ahead of time. That way, the next day when I make the same omelet again, I don't have to go through this process all over again. I prepare batches of vegetables, and pretty much the next morning it takes me 5 minutes to make this breakfast all over again. And this is a really good trick. These vegetables will stay in the fridge for a while, for a whole week. You don't have to worry about them spoiling. They are cooked, so they're gonna be perfectly fine, and it's gonna make your life way, way easier. So let's talk about cheese, which is a very important ingredient here. I have here Monster cheese that it's 80 calories per slice. It's very creamy, nice cheese. However, I prefer myself to have a lower calorie, high protein cheese, which is Jarlsberg Swiss cheese. This is a light version, and it tastes almost the same. I believe I don't see much of a difference, and this is the one I prefer. It has 7 grams of protein, which is great. Now the bacon, look at the bacon, it's pretty much done. It's nice and crunchy, and that's the way you like it. And look at that, look how much fat I have here. It's perfect right now. Basically, we don't have to use any fat if you don't want to extra. Right now we're going to put mushroom in, and the leeks, if you of course using them, and we're going to leave it alone, because the mushroom, when mushroom is put on a pan and you start stirring it right away, it will never get the brown color, it will never get that flavor, it will just release water, and it's going to be a mess. They're going to basically cook, and they're not going to be that great. So you want to leave them for about 5 minutes, I would say here. Look at that. This is just perfect now. You see, like, everything is getting nice and brown underneath, and this is the time you're going to stir. You're going to coat the rest of the fat around the other vegetables, leeks, and then you're going to cook it for another 5 minutes for the leeks to soften nicely before we add our last ingredient, which is spinach. And before we add spinach, let's season it. A little bit salt, a little bit pepper, and if you'd like extra flavor, you would like to add some other spices, or you would like maybe some other seasoning, go ahead and do it right now. And again, you can also switch the vegetables. You can pick whichever vegetable you like. And let's stir it again. Make sure all the salt and pepper is covered here. And now I'm ready to add spinach. It looks like a lot, but trust me, this spinach just melts away literally when heat is applied. So I'm gonna put a little bit of it on the pan, sprinkle with a little bit salt, making sure all the layers are covered, and keep on stirring it. So right now we're just gonna be turning and turning and turning. It takes just a few seconds, maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and spinach leaves gonna be wilting while we stirring. And the vegetables look pretty much done. So you don't want to wilt the spinach way too much. This texture is perfect. And right now, as a bonus, I'm going to show you another filling that I use for those omelets. And so I'm going to start with the same way, with a couple of slices of bacon. Put it on a hot pan. Make sure you get all the fat rendered. And to that, I'm gonna add onion, and this one I'm gonna make spicy, so I'm gonna add a jalapeno. But if you cannot eat spicy or don't like spicy, you can omit this step, of course. And next, red bell pepper, and I'm gonna add a zucchini. And zucchini is a very good, very versatile vegetable. It doesn't have that much flavor in it, so whatever dish you're gonna use it, it's basically gonna inherit that flavor, which is great because it's very low calorie and it adds a lot of volume to the dish. So again, salt and pepper. This time I like to spice it up, so I'm gonna add a little bit of cumin, a little bit of sweet paprika, and a little bit of chili powder. Stir it all together and let it saute for about For me, I like it a little bit on the softer side, these vegetables. I saute them for at least 15 to 20 minutes. But you're gonna see, once they start browning, make sure you turn them. And when you see them browning again, then you turn them, and eventually they're gonna get nice and soft. And this is how they look when they're done. Now at the end, I would like to add maybe a little bit of cilantro. Nice chopped cilantro. It adds a lot of flavors. I personally love it. And at this time, you can turn off the heat and stir it all together. Now the great thing is, as with the other topping, this pretty much is four portion sizes. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just use 1/4 of it for my next omelette, and I'm gonna stir the rest in the fridge in a container. And these fillings, they will hold up, like I said, in the fridge for even a week. So every time you need a new omelette, you can just take a little bit of it, put it there, and you have another great breakfast. So for this, let's call it a Mexican omelette. I'm gonna use a bacon, turkey bacon that is, because this bacon has a lot of protein in it, and does not add a lot of calories. This is only 90 calories per 2 slices, which is great. I'm gonna heat it up because I don't like it cold, of course, and I'm going to do the eggs right now. So make sure the pan is nice and hot and it's greased. Greasing it is important. And now this amount, I have the 2 eggs and 2 ounces of egg white, so it's a little bit more of volume. It's going to be more of volume. So now you're going to wait till the eggs start setting on the edges a little bit, but the heat, make sure the heat is not high. You pretty much on a lower to medium heat possibly. And when you see the edges getting already a little bit drier, this is when you're going to start this interesting process. So you're going to lift each edge and you're going to make sure that the liquid goes in there, and you're going to do it all around the pan. This basically makes sure, this process will make sure that you're not burning the eggs, and the omelette cooks much faster. It might not look that pretty, but it doesn't matter. When you fold it, you're not even gonna see it. And there you go, a little bit more here. And at the same time, as you can see, I'm not sure if you can see from this angle, but the omelette is also, the eggs are setting. They're getting thicker and thicker. See? Okay, this looks good. So now I'm gonna add Swiss cheese first. I'm adding cheese first because I wanna have the most heat so it melts nicely. And I'm doing this only on one side because the other side I'm gonna close the omelette with. Next, I'm gonna add the turkey bacon, and there goes our filling, all bell pepper filling. And this is pretty much done and ready to fold. So before we do that, let's go and do the same thing with the 2-egg omelette and the other filling, so you can see another way. So this is also a preheated pan, and I'm gonna smear it with a little bit of butter. This way, I notice I'm only using 2 grams of butter, which is pretty good. It's not that much, so it's not gonna add that many calories to the whole dish. And importantly, you have to make sure that the pan is hot. It's not sizzling hot, not too hot, but it has to be warm enough so when you put the eggs, they actually start setting right away instead of just sitting there. So I sometimes like to put my hand there and see if it's hot enough. But you're also gonna see when you look at the butter, I'm not sure if you can see it from here, but when you look at the butter, it's gonna start sizzling a little bit. You're gonna see little bubbles forming. That's when you know it's warm enough and we are ready to put the egg mixture. And the eggs go in, And these are only 2 eggs here. So it's going to be a slightly smaller omelette. It's still big. You're going to see it's still pretty much big. So depending what your appetite is or how much food you can handle, you can play with it. And we're going to use the same exactly process as we did with the other one. So we're going to start moving the edges to the side and spreading more liquid all over. So the omelette just cooks. This will take a little bit faster because it's a thinner omelette, so this takes really a couple of minutes. And I'm using Monster cheese on this one, but you know, if you want to have it lower calorie, I definitely suggest you use the other one, the Swiss, the light Swiss, or any other light cheese that you prefer. Mozzarella will be fine as well if you find a lower fat version. And it really doesn't make much difference. It's really still very, very delicious. And for this one, I'm just going to use the filling, but also a lot of times I will use the turkey bacon as well if I want more protein, more volume. At this moment, so it looks pretty, I'm using just the mushroom filling. And you see just a little bit, not too much. And let's take a look at the edges. They're drying out a bit, so pretty much we are ready to close the omelette. And if you see that the middle is still a little bit on a softer side, you can leave it for another few seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds. That's perfectly fine. So pretty much there you go. We have 2 different types of omelets. Also, I was able to show you 2 egg omelette and 2 egg omelette plus egg white. Both of them are satisfying, great breakfast. And you can see yourself, it was very easy, pretty fast. You can do it. I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and if you did, click the like button, and I will see you on the next one.